Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm from Miss P Special Education Classroom, and this is my first time on a how-to video, so please excuse my voice or if it takes a little longer. Today I'm going to show you how I created my Pinterest board covers, and I'm going to show you how I did that in Photoshop. So the first thing that I do is I open up Photoshop, and then I need to go to File, New, and a pop-up will come up. So I need to name my document. I'm going to name it Pinterest board cover, because after all, that's what I'm making. And then there is a certain size that works best for Pinterest board covers. And in Photoshop, you have the option of using pixels. And so you want it to be a width of 735 pixels and a height of 498. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then my transparent document's going to show up. Now I found that this is the easiest way for me to incorporate other items into my document. So I'm going to go to my screen, and I have a separate file in my Google Drive that holds all of my digital scrapbook paper. So what I need to do is I just need to click that folder, choose one, and then I can drag and drop it into my Photoshop document. When you drag and drop, it's not going to be the correct size, so you need to manipulate the width and the height to make it how you want it to look. So for me, just for this video, this is okay for me. When I've manipulated it to the point where it is the way that I like it, I'm going to go ahead and come up and push that check mark on the top toolbar. And that just says, this is the way I want it. If later on I decide that I don't like it, I can just come over here to where the layers are on the right hand side. I can highlight what it is that I don't like, and I can push delete and it'll go away so that you can restart the process all over again. So if I want to incorporate any sort of clip art or any sort of frames or anything like that, again, the drag and drop is what I have found is easiest. So this goes with any images, any clip art, photos, whatever it is that you want on your document. And again, once you drag and drop it in, you're going to have to manipulate it to make it look the way that you want it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I have my background, I have my frame. When it does look the way that I want it to look, I'm going to go ahead and again push that check mark at the top toolbar. For right now, I am done with adding anything else to my document as far as images and pictures, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull up my Photoshop screen so it's the only thing that I can see, just to avoid any sort of distractions. The next thing I want to do is I want to add text. So I'm going to come over here to the left toolbar, and I'm going to click the T button, and what that is going to do is it's going to give me the opportunity to put text in my document. I'm going to click the screen, and then I'm going to write whatever it is that I want to write. So for me right now, I want to make a Pinterest board cover, if I can spell. Okay, so at this point, before you've decided that this is where you want your text, what you want it to look like, just like in any other like word processor or like Photoshop, if you want to change it, you have to highlight it. If you want to change the color, you can come over here to the color wheel and choose whatever color it is that you want your text to be. So for me, I'm going to choose green for my text. Okay, and then I just click it. If I want to change the font or the size, I can highlight it or keep it highlighted, and I can come up to the fonts and I can choose a different font. For me, it is the be-all and end-all is KG fonts. I'm not being paid to say that. And then I can change the size as well. When I'm done manipulating the text, I come over and I make my cursor the move tool, and then I can go ahead and place my text wherever it is on the document that I want it. For me, I have a little bit of self-diagnosed OCD, and I can see that my text is kind of too big for my frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the text. I'm going to highlight my text, and I'm going to make it a size smaller so that it can be easily fit into the frame. So then I can make my cursor the move tool once again, and I can move it anywhere on this document that I want it. Once I have that done, we're good. The next thing I'm going to show you, for some reason it took me hours and hours and hours to figure out how to do it, but then once I figured out how to do it, it's so easy. So I'm going to show you how to outline the text in a Photoshop document, excuse me. So I'm going to come over to the bottom left-hand corner, and there is a square with kind of a corner folded over, and what that's going to do is it's going to create a new layer. I'm going to go ahead and click that button, and then I'm going to drag the layer that's created underneath my text. Once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead to the T of my text. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to click select pixels. And what that's going to do is it's going to select all of the text that I want to put a border or outline around. I'm going to come up to select, modify, expand. And the expansion is how thick you want that outline to be. I usually go for like a 3. But for the purpose of this video, just to show you exactly what it is that I'm doing, I'm going to pick a 5. And then I'm going to push OK. Okay, and then you can kind of see the outline, what the outline is going to look like around your text. The next thing that you need to do is you need to come over, and again, you need to choose a color for that outline. I'm going to go ahead and just choose black. I'm going to click the color that I want. And then I'm going to come over to the paintbrush or the paint bucket tool. On the left-hand toolbar, I'm going to click that button. I'm going to come over, and you're going to kind of see the no symbol. And what that is, I'm going to click my screen, and a pop-up's going to come up. I don't know what this means. I'm new to Photoshop, but I know that if I click OK, my document is going to look the way that I want it to. Maybe someday I'll be able to tell you what that means, but I'm going to click OK. And then now I'm going to be able to dump my black outline into my text. So I want to put my cursor in between the text and that dashed line. So I'm going to click it, and it makes a cover or a border around my text. Now, if you use certain letters, there is a need for a border inside the letter. Some of these have the dash marks and some of these don't. For instance, you can see that the E, inside of the E, doesn't have the dash mark, and I just think that that's because the space is so small, there's not room for both outline and not outline. So if I click inside that E, it's just going to make color in the whole inside. So I'm going to do that. And then again, on the other letters that do have that dash mark inside of the text, I'm going to click in between the text and the dash mark, and it's going to create that outline. I'm going to do that for each letter, each part. Okay, so if I like the way that it looks, I'm going to go ahead and move my cursor back to the move tool. I'm going to come up and click select and then deselect. And this is what my finished product will look like. If I like it, I'm going to go ahead and save it. If I decide, oh, I don't really like that green, unfortunately, we can't go back to the text and highlight it and change the color. You've kind of got to start that process over again. So I would come over and I would highlight the Pinterest board cover, what my text says, and that layer 1 that we created to have the outline. And then I'm going to push delete, and then I can start the process over again. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to say this is what I want it to look like. I'm going to go to File, Save As, and again, we already named our document when we created it. Where I always like to save documents that I'm working with and about to upload onto the internet on my desktop. That way they can be easily found. And then when I'm done manipulating them and uploading them and I'm done with them, I can put them in my Google Drive folder where I know I can find them later. That way my desktop doesn't get too crowded. But for format, we want to save this document as a picture because we're going to upload it to Pinterest. So we want to save it as a JPEG or a PNG. And I'm just going to go ahead and save it as a JPEG. I'm going to push save. Again, a document's going to come up, and I am new to Photoshop, so I've done this enough times that I know that if I click OK, it's still going to turn out the way that I want it to. So I'm going to come over, and I can see that on my desktop is my document. and that is how you make a Pinterest board cover.